Hello Pokemon fans, this is ProPokeNoob back today to bring you 2 more battles as part of the Chronicles. We have learned so far that I am a giant noob considering I'm trying to get into the voting thread, but do not let these battles deter you. You guys have to realize that a lot of thought process was going through my mind when I was making these plays. And it just so happens that 2 months later, I realized that I made a lot of mistakes. But that's okay, because we have 2 more battles today to hopefully prove that I'm getting better at this game. Let's hope so. So anyways, first battle today is against a person by the name of Indicud, In the Hood, Indicud, whatever. So, my opponent's team, this is actually going to be the day of, for some reason, I didn't actually try this. It just happened. They have themes to every video has had themes so far. We've had, the beginning of it, then we had the Salt, then we had the Flubs. Today is going to be the interesting new Pokemon that you don't see every day. So, Mega Glalie, just to give you a quick background of Mega Glalie, when you put it into perspective, with Hazard's support and a little bit of offensive pressure, Mega Glalie can kill stuff with Ice Shard. So it can kill Mega Pidgeot, it can also kill Dragalge by just going for Return, or Superior. All 3 Pokemon that are being suspect tested gets destroyed by Mega Glalie with a little bit of support. So, Mega Glalie actually made sense at the time. Even though there were a lot of fighting types in the tier, the most that you would have was Pangoro, and you could probably kill a Pangoro with a little bit, again, damage on it, and then just finish off before it gets you. So, it makes sense. But this guy also has a Braviary, which is a threat. Jolteon, just like Fletchinder, Jolteon is also a threat to this team because I don't have anything to immediately kill it. I have to chip away at it. And you'd think, well, Jolteon's very frail, but, you know, my team is very bulky. So, it doesn't matter how frail it is, I have to be able to actually hit it before it can take out a Pokemon of mine and then, you know, Volt Switch out and give it to someone else to do. So, that's going to be something I have to keep in mind, but no matter, it's not a big deal. Slowking is going to lead off because it kills Sandslash. It will be able to take a hit from Glalie, Braviary, anything like that, but he brings in the Jolteon. So I'm like, okay, he's just going to go for Volt Switch. I have no way of stopping that, so I just more or less want to see what item he is. Registeel helps me identify that it is a Life Orb, so it's not too bad. He's going to bring in Drapion, does end up going for a Taunt. I think he's going to do this, so I go for Seismic Toss just in case, and I do predict it correctly, so he does have Black Sludge, which is also good. No, so he is a defensive set. There were offensive ones with Swordsdance, no big deal. He is going to go for the knockoff now. I figure the best thing to knock off is my Drapion, because now not only can I put more knockoff pressure on, but I can also go for taunts on the off chance I need to. So I am going to go for the knockoff here, get the Sandslash. Now, I believe, what do I do here? Do I go for taunt? No, I switch out. No big deal. I don't want to take an Earthquake. I see Leftover, so I know he's not the offensive Life Orb one, but he is going to go for his rocks. Hitmontop can go both for Toxic and Rapid Spin. So he can go for knockoff. He can also go for Toxic on my Hitmontop, but the idea is to get rid of rocks because I'm going to need a lot of switching against this Jolteon. So I need to get rocks gone here as soon as possible. Now, Jellicent does come in. I don't want to reveal Foresight yet. The reason for this is if I reveal that, he is just going to know how to play around it. So I want to get in at the opportune time. I'm going to let him burn me. It's not a big deal. Hitmontop's goal in this game is to just go for Foresight Rapid Spin. That's the idea. So I have to predict when Jellicent's going to come back in, and then I'm going to go for Foresight, predicting that, then Rapid Spin, which is going to get me the rocks off the field. Sandslash is easily to kill. Either way, he's going to go for the Shadow Ball, get a crit, which sucks. Now he's going to go to his Drapion as I end up going out into my own Drapion, because I thought he was going to go for Shadow Ball, and I guess he expected me to just go for a Grass Knot or something like that. So we are actually going to exchange Toxic Spikes, which is something you don't see every day. And I believe at this point he's going to go for a second layer. Now, of course, just to give you, again, another background, again, just in case you don't know how Toxic Spikes works, 1 layer is Poison, 2 layer is Toxic. The reason why he's gone for 2 layers against my team is fairly bulky. So the Pokemon that he's going to be hitting with that, which consists of Slowking, it's just Slowking. So he wants to get my Slowking Toxic. Yeah, he wants to get my Slowking Toxic for when it comes back out. I've gone for 1 layer, which gets his Jolteon, Glalie, his, nope, his Sandslash is already gone, his Jellicent. It will get all of these it'll get those 3 Pokemon, 2 or 3 Pokemon poison. Now, the difference here is mine works out. He actually, as much as he wants to Toxic the Slowking, it doesn't make much sense. 1, I still have Drapion up, right? 2, Hitmontop is burned, right? The only thing, he's only getting 1 Pokemon Toxic out of this. In this entire time, he could have gone for Taunt. He could have prevented me. He could have just stopped me from doing any supporty type things. I guess it makes sense because if he didn't have Whirlwind or something like that, then yes, this would make sense for him to set up the Toxic Spikes, but at the same time, he could have made a switch into something like Sandslash. He could have made a switch into something like Braviary and put pressure on my Pokemon while I'm trying to set up to get while I'm trying to get Toxic ready for him, right? Because at this point, if I get both Jolteon and Glalie poisoned, even Jellicent poisoned, that just gives me more, damage to his team. I need more damage. I'm lacking damage. So Toxic is really or Poison's really gonna help me. So either ways, I am going to go either ways, guys. Hello. I'm gonna go for Knockoff. I don't know what that was. And I'm gonna go for a second Knockoff, knowing he's gonna switch. Now here I'm gonna switch out. I'm gonna go into my Hitmontop. I figure this is the time when I can get Jellicent in. So he's gonna go for the Rapid Spin, get rid of the Poison Spikes. Toxic Spikes, gosh darn it. I go for Foresight here, predicting the Jellicent, and he doesn't take the bait. Oh! And it's not like he expected Foresight. He just didn't switch. And now he makes a really good play, goes into the Jellicent now, making me think he's gonna just sack off his Sandslash, which is a good play on his part. But here I think he's gonna make another switch. I just go for Rapid Spin just in case. It's not that big of a deal because since Drapion can switch back in to get rid of the Toxic Spikes, Slowking is not threatened. So I'm just worried about Slowking. Slowking does need to stay a little bit healthy in order to take a lot of the switching that he could do between Braviary and Jolteon. And Mega Glalie. So either way, Toxic Spikes are gone. He's going to win a Sandslash. I'm just going to kill this thing off right now with between the Toxic and the Knockoff. Not a big deal because I know he has to switch. If he went into Glalie there, that would have sucked, but at the same time, Glalie would have had to take damage. So this makes more sense. He gets a free switch into his Glalie. I'm going to go into Cresselia, knowing that I've seen the damage before from return. I can take it. He goes for Earthquake. First of all, I'm like, okay, perfect. No big deal. We can just go straight for a hit. He goes for Double Edge. Holy mother of God, that Maw hurts. That Maw literally just took a bite out of Cresselia, and not many Pokemon could do that. So he's got Double Edge, which really freaking hurts. Now here, I predicted Drapion. I predicted Drapion to honestly come in, so what I'm actually going to do is switch out into Slowking. The reason for this is if you went for Explosion, that's one thing, but if you went for Double Edge, that's another thing. So Double Edge makes sense because he'll hit all my Pokemon, and he might... Like, I didn't have any Pokemon low enough where he would have lived from Recoil, but if you went for Explosion, I wanted to keep Cresselia around for Drapion. Let's put it that way. I wanted to keep Cresselia around. And this thing can regenerate as well, so I was hoping that Explosion won't kill, and then I could just regenerate off the damage. But he is going to go into his Jolteon. He has Signal Beam, which I did not see coming. I honestly did not see that coming. I thought it might be Shadow Ball or something like that, but Signal Beam kills me. It's the same damage anyways. That's good to know that he has Signal Beam. Not that it's going to affect any of my Pokemon, but it just means he can hit Drapion on a predicted if I go into Slowking, but he can go for Volt Switch, all that stuff. I'm going to go for my Rocks, thinking that Jellicent's going to come in on my Registeel, no big deal. I'm going to go for the Protect. Same old, he goes for Will-O-Wisp. We just stall out a little bit, get some extra Toxic damage off on him. Now, thank God this thing has Toxic on it, not just Poison, because what that means is he can't stall me out. I can win a 1v1, sort of, even if he burns me. I'm going to go Drapion now. He goes for the Will-O-Wisp. Not what I'm worried about. What I'm worried about is actually going for the Knockoff. Now here, I think, does he go into Drapion? I think his best play would have been to go into Drapion, so I go for Whirlwind, predicting this, that he wants to try and make this switch so he can get more pressure. Nope! Get the hell out of here, and I bring in Braviary. I'm like, crap, this is not good. So I'm just going to let this thing die off. That's okay. He ends up actually going for Rock Slide, which was a giant mistake on his part, because now not only does he let me go and knock off the Choice Scarf, which would have basically spelled doom for me, but I can go into Pidgeot now. I'm faster, I can Mega Evolve and go for the... I have no idea who that is. I'm going to ignore that because I have no idea who that is. Anyways, why do I have that ringer? I thought I changed the ringer. Am I narrating? Oh yeah, right, we're narrating. Okay, I'm gonna kill the Drapion. Oh my god, am I washed up, people? Am I done? Am I like finished? I don't know. Either way, his Volt Switch is not going to kill, luckily, because I can get Regenerator going, and the Assault Vest keeps me alive. Now, of course, he is going to go for the Brave Bird. No big deal. What this does also mean is I can go into, because he's not Scarfed anymore, I can go into Mega Pidgeot, threaten him with a nice and juicy Hurricane. He does have to sack off the Braviary. His win condition right now is the Jolteon, but you have to realize something here. So it's Jolteon and a Toxic Jellicent versus my Mega Pidgeot and a Registeel. Now, Registeel, if you want to see here, Registeel's at a good 75% HP, so Jolteon's not going to be doing too much damage. My best bet here is, since I cannot outspeed Jolteon with Mega Pidgeot, is I have to just wear it down with Life Orb Recoil and Stealth Rock switching. So I'm assuming right now he has Thunderbolt and Volt Switch, but his best bet would to be go for the... What the heck? Can I? Focus. Hello, we're still recording. Yes. He's going to go for Volt Switch. I know that because Jellicent, if he switches into Jellicent, he can kind of damage Registeel to the point, burn it, stuff like this, to get to the point where Jolteon can't finish it off. So technically, Registeel is stopping him from winning right now. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this to my advantage. I'm going to switch out, because I only need one more switch in to win this with Mega Pidgeot. But Mega Pidgeot's not going to be the one to win this. It's going to be Registeel that's going to be winning this. So what I'm going to do, he's going to go into his Jellicent. No big deal. I'm going to try and wear this thing down. I'm going to predict him to go for the what's it called? For the recover here. I'm going to switch into Mega Pidgeot, the most aggressive play you could think could happen. He ends up going for a recover. This is okay with me. I do not have HP Grass, but Hurricane's going to do nothing because I'm going to go for Roost. That's the point. I'm going to go for Roost. I'm going to try and stall this guy out. Unfortunately, he does get the burn, which makes this a little bit harder. But what I'm going to do is make sure the Toxic gets to the point where if he has to recover, I'm going to win this because he either has to switch out and take a whole bunch of more Stealth Rock damage plus Life Orb damage trying to kill Registeel and Mega Pidgeot, or he's going to have to let Jellicent fall. This is the idea. So now I'm going to go for the Hurricane, get him to the point where if he didn't go for recover, he's going to die. And lo and behold, ladies and gentlemen, he went for the Scald and let me kill him with a Hurricane, which means that it's now going to come down to a Jolteon that is at 13% HP versus a Registeel who's at 45%. I have recovery. He doesn't. He's not going to be able to win this. I'm going to just get this up just in case he was going to get a crit, but even then, as you'll see from the... Actually, no. If you see from the Thunderbolt damage, a crit would not have killed me. Actually, it would have, because it would have been a good 46%. So if I didn't go for Protect there, it would have mattered. So I got myself in a safe position. I go for the Seismic Toss, and oh my god. We get a good play going. We got a good game going in this series. I am happy with that. Moving on to the second one. Okay. Before we start this, please go grab food, grab a drink, grab something to keep yourself busy. This battle is long. And I'm literally just gonna, I'm not even gonna go through team preview. You just look at his team. Just look at that team, okay? It's not even Trick Room. That's a nightmare of a team. I lead off with Drapion once again. Drapion's my best lead against this thing. He's going to go into Rhyperior. I thought he might go for the Earthquake, so I go for the leftovers, him predicting me to go for Taunt if I led off with it. But he actually just goes straight for Stealth Rocks. Not a big deal. I'm just going to switch to Hitmontop now because it is my best switch. I can tank hits from it. I can go for the Rapid Spin. He actually makes a nice switch into his Alomomola. Now, here, it gets hazy because I go for Toxic first of all and I miss. That really sucks. This Toxic miss might look like it matters, but later on we're going to learn the reason why it doesn't, and I'm pretty sure you can look at his team and go, oh, that's why. So I'm going to go into Drapion. This kind of sucks because the Toxic would have put pressure on him to make different plays at this point because Alomomola would have been worn down, but luckily I can go for the knockoff on the Alomomola, so it's not awful. But his core of Lantern, Alomomola, Rhyperior, and Escavalier is very difficult for my team to break through. So I'm going to go for Taunt. He can't go for Wish, which is what I thought he would be going for. So I'm going to switch out now. Go into my Slowking, predicting the Rhyperior to come in, I believe. Was it Rhyperior? Because I had... Yeah, I thought Rhyperior would come in, but he gets the burn with the Scald. That sucks. He also gets a crit, which is like, okay, well, you know, you suck. But I am going to go for the Scald at this point. Get the burn on him. So, I mean, hacks for hacks. Okay. Hacks is okay. I'm okay with this. Now, here's the thing, though. Here is the pièce de résistance. He's got a Heal Bell. Yeah. So, not only did I think that this team was going to be, okay, I'll just take a Toxic Spikes up or just burn everything. Now I have to get through a Lantern with a frickin' Heal Bell, and he burned my Registeel. Holy crap. Can we stop with the hacks? Good God. Anyway, so I'm going to get Rocks up, because just like how my team's weak to hazards, his team is weak to hazards too. Except he doesn't have any way to get rid of hazards. So this was extremely important to focus on. Now he's going to bring in his Escavalier. And I have no idea what this thing wants to do. He's probably just going to go for Drill Run or Knockoff. So I'm just going to go to Hitmontop, which I believe has already been knocked off, but it can get an attack drop anyways. But he actually makes another switch, and he goes into Alomomola again. I'm going, can you stop? Can we attempt a Toxic this time? I don't care if he has Heal Bell, I need to get a Alomomola not comfortable. But I know at the same time, back then, 2 months ago, I'm like, it doesn't make any sense to do that. Instead, what I can do is predict him to just go for a Wish or Scald, get in my Pidgeot safely, Mega Evolve, see how much this is going to do, and it does less than half. I'm going, oh my god, 2/3 of my team is now statused. I can't break the walls. How am I supposed to do this? So Slowking comes in. He's going to go for Protect, which I thought, if he's got Wish, he's got Protect, he's just going to try and stall me out. I don't want to take extra damage on Mega Pidgeot. It doesn't make any sense. He's going to go for Wish. I predict the Escavalier to come in. I go for Fire Blast. This is going to burn the Alomomola because Slowking says, screw logic, 10%, I got this. So he's going to go into Escavalier at this point, as I believe I go for the Grass Knot. So, yeah. Would have been really nice, but at the same time, he did go for Wish. So that's why I did go for the Grass Knot. I thought he'd just, try and stay and tank a hit, and I'd go for Grass Knot. I'm like, okay, whatever. But it made sense for me to go to Escavalier. But even then, if I did go for that means he probably has Assault Vest. But I don't think he could take a Fire Blast. I don't know. I never did the calculation, actually, because I messed up and I didn't really care at that point. I'm like, okay, I got to focus on the game, get this done. I do go for the Rapid Spin at this point. This actually is important because now I can switch a little bit better. Like I said, 2/3 of my team is statused in a way that's going to be taking damage every turn. So now his Rhyperior has to come in. So I bring in Cresselia because it's the next best thing to tank a hit. He just ends up going for Volt Switch, gets a crit. But, I mean, we've already gone too far into the hacks here. He does have Escavalier coming in. I thought he was going to go for Pursuit or something, so I had to switch out anyways. I can't do anything to this Escavalier. So I'm going to go into Drapion if he wants to go for Knockoff. Again, next best thing to take a hit. But he goes back into Lantern because this man has so much switching priority. It's ridiculous. It's actually redonkulous. That's how ridiculous it is. The Ridic has been changed to Redonk. It's nuts. So, I'm going to go for the Knockoff here because I wanted to hit the Lantern. Ugh. But he is burned. He is burned. This is the Redeeming Grace. I can go for Taunt. He cannot Wish anymore. But he is going to go straight for the Scald. He's going to try and get a burn on me. Thank God he doesn't. If Drapion doesn't get burned, we're actually in a decent position here because that means I have a lot of health to work with. And I got a lot of tankiness to send this thing back in to take on a whole bunch of Pokemon. I switch into Mega Pidgeot, try and get some offensive pressure here. But he makes a switch in his Rhyperior, so this man is either reading me like a book, or we're just making switches that are convenient. I'm going to go with switches that are convenient so I look a lot better as a YouTuber and as a Pokemon battle. Yeah. So, he's going to go for his Rocks again. I go back into Hitmontop, immediately put Rapid Spin pressure on him. Now, to be perfectly honest, before we see this, okay. Do not think that because what I'm saying right now is I'm going for Rapid Spin pressure, that I'm not thinking about this Pidgeot in the back. So, whether you believe me or not, I predicted him to go into Pidgeot, and I went for close combat, okay? Current me right now is saying Rapid Spin because I need Rapid Spin pressure, but that's what brought me, and I wrote it on the side, I wrote it in the side notes, it's on the side of the battle, okay? I knew that he needed to get something going here, and I figured he's going to try and abuse the fact that I've been playing so passive and playing so defensively. So I go straight for the close combat. That means I win a speed tie with this, thank God. That was a giant risk, and as we saw before, Hurricane does about 75%, so if I didn't have that prior damage, there was a chance I wouldn't even kill him. So, that's a thing. But he's going to go for the Volt Switch as I go for the Roost. Nice play on my part, actually, because even though I'm going to take Toxic damage, I don't really care. He is going to bring his Rhyperior at this point. I do not have Spinning anymore, but what I can do is just go for U-turn here. And I have at least one more switch in, but looking at his team, I'm not going to break through it if that Fletchender's still alive, so Mega Pidgeot now suddenly becomes like okay, it'll finish Pokemon off if it can, but otherwise, I got to go for Roosts on something, right? Which is going to be Alomomola or Lantern, really. So I'm going to make a switch into Drapion here as he actually makes a switch into his Escavalier. I figured he is going to try and bring in something to kill Cresselia. So I go into Drapion, which is the next healthiest physically defensive Pokemon. He's going to switch out into his Alomomola. Like I said, this is a very long and tiring and stally battle. But this is what we have to do. I predict this. I go for the taunt. Alomomola, screw you. Even though I love you on my team, I have one middle finger sticking right at your right flipper there, you piece of crap. So I'm going to go into Slowking. He's getting next to no damage. Now, this is actually kind of advantageous to me that he's already statused all my Pokemon, and now it's getting to the point where my Pokemon that could tank the hits from the Pokemon that were giving me problems before, I don't have to worry about status anymore. He's already taxed me to death. I don't care. I'm going to switch in and take all your damage. It kind of works weirdly that way, but he's going to go for the Heal Bell. I do not abuse this, and I go for Fire Blast, predicting the Escavalier again. I'm like, dude, switch into Escavalier already. I honestly thought I would get him there, but didn't happen. I'm going to switch out. Going to Cresselia. This was awful because if he had switched into Escavalier predicting this, it would have been terrible, but he does have Volt Switch. He is actually going to go to a Alomomola, which surprised me a little bit. because he could have just gone into Escavalier and put more pressure. So I'm going to go for Psyshock. Now, he can go for the Wish. And I'm going, okay, what do I do here? So I'm going to switch out because I'm figuring he might heal up the Escavalier, he might heal up the Rhyperior. So I'm just going to go to Drapion to prepare for this, but he actually ends up going for Toxic. Now, the funny thing about the Toxic, if we could just pause this for a quick second, is Toxic didn't make too much sense if he expected, like, he shouldn't expect, because Cresselia didn't do a lot of damage, right? So why would I keep Cresselia in on a Pokemon that I can't deal a lot of damage? That was more or less me checking. But I guess unless he was willing to expect that I had Toxic on my Cresselia, that's the only thing I could possibly think of at the time. So what I figured was, okay, well, I'll go into Drapion just because it's not burned yet, so if he goes for Scald, that's going to suck. But he might not Scald a Cresselia because poisoning a Cresselia makes more sense than burning a Cresselia. It makes it a lot more killable if it's poisoned. So, but Slowking's already statused. Mega Pidgeot's already statused. Registeel's not going to get poisoned. His best bet was actually Scald, in my opinion. That's just my opinion. I understand why he'd go for Toxic, predicting the Cresselia to stay in, because if he exchanges Toxics, he has Heal Bell, right? But I don't care, because if he has Heal Bell, I don't want to status him. Not anymore, because I don't have any kill pressure at this point. So, I go for a layer of Toxic Spikes. And this is going to make sure that Alomomola, and basically, because he doesn't have a spinner, as he switches, now he has to Heal Bell a little bit more safely, and he's going to be taking extra damage and get punished for Heal Belling. He's going to at least take 12% extra damage, which matters at this point, right? We're getting down to the point where all of my Pokemon are getting weak. I once again predict the Escavalier, and it's not happening, it's not working, it's okay. So, his wish comes true. Not a big deal. I can switch out, go for Regenerator. This is the point where now all the Pokemon installed in both bulky teams are getting worn down, but he still has a healer, whereas my Pokemon are more or less living off the fact that they're just naturally fat. It's not a glandular problem, it's a Game Freak problem. Anyway, so I'm going to go into Drapion as he actually ends up going into the Alomomola. Beautiful for me because I can actually go for the taunt. Please tell me I go for the taunt. I can't remember if I went for the taunt. Yes, okay, I think I went for the taunt. It actually ends up going back into Alomomola. Did I go for taunt? Please tell me I went for taunt. Did I go for Whirlwind? No, I went for knockoff. Why did I go for knockoff? Go for freaking taunt! Stupid noob! Anyways, I go for taunt now, I guess. Really, what was I going to knock off? It's either I knock off his leftovers, but he's not going to stay in. It doesn't make sense for me for him to stay in. I actually might as well go for taunt because I outspeeded anyways. If he wants to go for Volt Switch, he gets that off regardless. He's going to go for Scald, not get the burn. Thank God I'm getting redeemed for the amount of mistakes I am making. And the guy makes a comment about 30%, and I said it's actually 0.3% of the chance that he's burning me, even though he's gotten, what does he care? He's gotten like 4 status on me already. I don't freaking care. I missed a Toxic, and he got crit burn. I don't care. I'm going to kill off Rhyperior because screw this thing. Double crits, just to rub it in his face with him not burning Drapion. Drapion's actually doing a lot of work for me this game. So, now, here, do I go for the knockoff? I go for the knockoff. I get rid of the leftovers. Now he's in trouble. He burns me, but I've gotten the one thing that I wanted done, which is his team is finally getting worn down. Okay? Now that he hasn't gone for the... what's it called? He hasn't gone for the Heal Bell. I go for... What's it called? Whirlwind? Which now means his team is getting worn down. He can't switch in a Lantern anymore. So... he's having a little bit of problems here. I can actually go for the Roost. I'm going to try and stall him out a little bit while he goes for the Scalds. I don't actually need to attack because I know I'm not going to be able to kill. Actually, no, I knew I was going to kill. Why didn't I? Huh? Oh, no. Wait, what? Why didn't I actually? Okay, so my thought process here, I guess. I'm just trying to remember what I was doing here. Okay, so I knew that he's going to die from Toxic. And even if he regenerates up, I'm going to get it a healthy HP. So I guess I'm trying to get myself to a healthy enough HP where I can take a hit from Escavalier and Fletchinder. Maybe it was Fletchinder I was trying to be able to tank, but it turns out after Toxic, I can't even do that because he kept going for Scalds. So I have to go into Registeel here. Now, I was really fearing, like, the last Fletchinder, he had Taunt. So I'm going to go for the T-Wave anyways because it's my best bet. He ends up going for Swords Dance. I do get the T-Wave off. Now, at this point, if we recall... this was before I realized, or no, I should have realized by now that Cresselia can just go in as he actually, no, never mind, forget it, I was about to say I was sending Cresselia in because I could 2-hit KO it, but if I sent it in, he would have gotten the +2 off and then Acrobatics and kill me, so let's not go with that. Instead, what I have to do is stay in here with Registeel, go for Seismitosis, hope to God he gets paralyzed. He is at +4 at now, which is not good, and I'm hoping, like, if he gets paralyzed, he won't get the Roost off, and maybe we can kill him? No, he just kills me, which is okay. which is okay. I'll take it. I will take it. I go into Cresselia now. Hope he gets paralyzed and I can go for a Psyshock. He does, ladies and gentlemen. He finally gets paralyzed. The Hacks finally catches up to him, which means that now what he has to do is go into Escavalier. But of course, because the Escavalier is taking a lot of damage, what I can actually do is just stay in here and go for the Psyshock, which is my best bet, to get it lower to the point where Mega Pidgeot can actually kill it off with a Heat Wave. Because it's still, I believe it still has its Assault Vest on. Assault Vest actually helps it live like 60% or something like that. But now he is dead. His last Pokemon is Lantern, which has no HP left. It's just going to die to Rocks. He is going to forfeit out of frustration. But understandably, because his wall finally got crippled. But I mean, with a battle that long, it's going to get to that point where if we don't hacks each other, it's just going to be, you know, you can't expect to win. Like, that's the one risk you take with leaving the battle that long, is eventually your Pokemon are going to get worn down. And the Toxic Spike really did matter. The fact that I was able to get that off and finally get his team, you know, spiraling out of control. I think actually, I don't know if I want to say he got too aggressive with his defensive core between the Lantern and Alomomola. It just felt like he was trying to make a play, and then unfortunately, because I still had a lot of bulky Pokemon, I was able to out-sustain him. I don't know. I don't know exactly how I wanted to word that, but you kind of get what I mean. He, like, you know, he kind of got reckless there with not keeping his team healthy, and as a result, it actually pays off for me in the end, especially not having a Rapid Spinner. That really did mess him over as well. But regardless, excellent matches, Awaken D, and what's your name? In the Could. How could I forget In the Could? It was in the hood with the Could. Oh well. Anyways, that's the match for today. We only have one battle tomorrow, or in the next upload. Wow, I just assume I'm going to put these up one after another, don't I? Hint, I might, because I'm on strike right now. So, you might see it tomorrow, you might see it another time, but the next upload will only be one battle, and it is arguably one of the best battles to explain the tier. In my opinion, just to explain what the teams, what you can see from RU and the type of aggressive dynamics you can see from offensive teams versus stally teams. That'll basically describe how I feel. I'll give some closing thoughts on my opinions on whether or not this was going to be, or why these Pokemon should have been banned or not. And I'm telling you right now, again, even though I'm not showing you all the battles, out of the 45 to 50 battles that I did not see one Superior. I saw quite a bit of Dragalities and Mega Pidgeots, and even after that many battles, I was still convinced on my decision. So thank you very much for watching, guys, and I will see you next time. Until then, have an excellent day, and peace.